As much as Del Rio Wilson was waiting for this moment, the wide receivers weren't there to help him out much. Just 2 wideouts caught the football more than once tonight, and it was Damian Alford and running back Sean Tucker. Judah can hit the mid-range, he can hit the long threes, and he's also one of the fastest players on the court. The Florida State quarterback had himself 3 passing touchdowns along with a receiving score on 4th and goal with 11 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Right in this spot. And this is America's most beloved ballpark. If you've never been here before, well, you're in for a treat. I'm about to show you around. Let's go. 10 shots on goal today for the Orange, but they weren't able to find the back of the net until midway through the second half. If you take a trip down to Hamilton, you may notice Colgate men's basketball's recent success. Back-to-back Patriot League champions and in search of its 3rd straight NCAA tournament bid. Someone who was on both of those teams is Jeff Woodward, who also won 3 straight conference titles at Methacton High School in Audubon, Pennsylvania.
So it's kind of a familiar place for me, and it's kind of the expectation that I hold myself to.
But this summer, the psychology major found success for 5 weeks at Camp Ramapo, a summer camp that serves kids with special needs in Rhinebeck, about 3 hours southeast of Colgate University. Woodward found out about the opportunity through an email sent out by the school. He applied and got the job, one that was 24/7.
You're sleeping in the same bunks as them, you're eating all your meals with them. It really gives you an insight into their everyday lives and how difficult it can be, but how special the kids are.
Woodward did a lot. He spent time hanging out with his new friends, taught them life lessons, and did numerous activities, like feeding chickens. When Gate head coach Matt Lengel found out about Woodward's opportunity, he says he thought it was the perfect fit.
I mean, he's got a big personality, he's got a ton of energy, he brings a positive outlook on life.
Woodward does most of his work right behind me in the paint. The 6'11" center going into his junior year says he hopes to use the skills that he learned from Camp Ramapo and bring them to the hardwood in an effort for the Raiders to three-peat in the Patriot League.
Having that patience when somebody on our team, maybe an underclassman, doesn't know what's going on, not getting frustrated or upset with them, but really taking the time to make sure that they understand this is what we do, this is why we do it, this is how we do it.
Because in life, it's all about how you make your mark before the final buzzer sounds. I'm Trey Redfield, NCC Sports. It's year number 4 for number 11. Joe Girard is now in his senior year for Syracuse men's basketball. It's expected for JG3 to take on a much larger leadership role, something he's no stranger to.
I love it. That's something I've always had to do, going way back to high school. I remember on my football teams in varsity and basketball teams in varsity, I was a captain on the team since freshman, sophomore year.
It came at Glens Falls High School in eastern New York. There, Girard scored the most points ever by a high schooler in the state, with 4,763 points. His high school coach and uncle, Rob Girard, says he saw his nephew's biggest growth come this past season on the Hill.
He's, especially last year, I saw him mature as far as not worrying about what he scores or not worrying about how many shots he gets off. It was more contributing to the team and making sure they were winning games.
After a losing season, changes were made in bringing in a stout recruiting class. Girard will be making a change as well, going from the 1 back to the 2, and it's his leadership that will help him evolve more as a point scorer in the eyes of head coach Jim Boeheim.
But I think Joe is, he's a scorer. I think that's what he is. That's what he was. When he did move to the 2, he was very comfortable there too.
We're just looking forward to playing, fast pace, but at the same time getting some good stops on defense as well.
I'm Trey Redfield, Citrus TV. Welcome back to the ACC Network Halftime Report, along with Ian Unsworth. I'm Trey Redfield. Ian, Syracuse is limiting the turnovers, but it's Long Island that's limiting the fouls on its end, but it's the Orange as well that's getting into some foul trouble. It's that point in the year where the beanies and jackets make their reemergence. What if I told you an opposing quarterback wearing these was Syracuse football's kryptonite on Saturday. Tonight, the Mets are in Atlanta to kick off a weekend series with the Braves, and it's oh so crucial. Right now, New York has itself a one-game lead in the NL East over the Bravos, and the odds are actually in the Metropolitans' favor. That's right, Justin Outen. You may remember him. He was an offensive lineman for Syracuse in the 2000s, graduated from SU in 2006. Now he's the offensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos, so Johnny, some would say, like Russell Wilson, Broncos country. Let's ride. The Orange in the past 3 games have not seen Sean Tucker eclipse 75 rushing yards. And it's Cuse head coach Dino Babers that says getting the ball to RB1 is a complicated game of cat and mouse. Aisha, a couple of 3-pointers as well. What were you feeling from beyond the arc that made you realize, hey, I'm going to crank one tonight and get my first 3-point field goal on the year? On pace to win over 100 games, held a 15-game lead in the American League East. Life was good in the Bronx, but those dandy fortunes can go away just like that. Syracuse fell to the Laval Rocket last year in the North Division semifinals, but the Crunch are ready to put that behind them.